Hello, my pool playing friends. How's it going? Hope this video finds you well. We have a great one for you today, and by we I mean me. Here is an 8-ball match that I played against the Ghost actually last night, and things went so well I wanted to record it and get it out there. So without further ado, let's head over to the table and get things started off here. All right, this is a race to 7 against the Ghost. My Fargo is going back up. First break right off the bat, scratch in the side. So real quick Ghost rules. I get every break, no matter what happens on the break. If I make balls, don't make balls, I scratch, hop the cue ball off the table, whatever, I still get ball in hand. This game is not really about the break, it is about the run out. And I get ball in hand, I get to run out either stripes or solids and make the 8-ball, and if I do, I get 1 point. If I do not, if I miss at any point or scratch or fail to run out, the Ghost gets the point. Race to 7. First rack here, I like solids, mostly because the 9, the 14, and the 12 kind of tie up this area up here, and then the 6 kind of tie, the 6 and the 2 kind of tie up things for these 4. So going for solids here, I need to get up. I'm trying to get up all the way on the 4, but I know if I don't, I have the 1 as kind of my insurance. So now I'm going to come back and around for the 4. Then I'm just gonna see which ball I get best on. I'm gonna go to the 4, from the 4 to the 3, which I didn't really get there. I wanted to be more on the other side of this pocket line. Now the 9 is kind of in the way now, so I'm gonna probably end up going into it or avoiding it and coming back and getting right on top of it. So here I can try to shoot the gap to get on the 2, but no matter what happens, I always have the 6 down here in the left corner. We'll see what happens here. Got lucky that I did not scratch off the 9. That could have been bad right in here. But, yeah. Gonna do 6. I need to get an angle on the 2 to be able to get back for the 8. The 8 does not go in any other pocket. Or I should say the easiest pocket for it to go to is here. So I have to get somewhere in this general area. If I could hit the 10, that'd be great, but I don't think I have the angle for it. So I have to kind of, it's almost like a pinch stun half follow with left spin shot. Just like that. I think I went over all the rules. If not, I've done enough Ghost matches now. In fact, I'll put a playlist up here to my Ghost matches. I have a number of them, 8, 9, and 10 ball. And I'm on the board. It's 1-0. You'll notice my Fargo is over 600 again. I have won a couple tournaments and placed well in another one lately, so that has helped. And second break in a row, I scratched on the right side, and the 7 goes in the side as well. That is not a pattern rack or anything. It's just coincidence that I happen to be there. I do have a semi-pattern that I use for racking some of the time, but most of the time it's do it till it looks good and make sure there's a stripe in the one corner and a solid in the other, and that'll be it. Drinking ice water tonight. Nothing fancy. Here I'm looking at stripes, and really I have to get somewhere in here. So I have to shoot the gap 1 rail between the 2 and the 4, and as long as I do that, I should have a shot. Kinda was going for the 10, but I knew if I didn't get it, I would have the 9 as backup. And I'm just a little bit off of the 10 to not really get a great shot on it. So I'm going to play the 9, and I'm going to use the 12 as a stopper. The 12 will kind of go down here somewhere and should be able to get on the 15. If not, I have the 13. And that worked really well. I hit the 12 solid in, or straight on. Full. Full is the word I want to use. So I just want to go a little bit forward to give me an angle on the 12. And then this is something that I should have looked at a little bit longer, but I kind of knew, instinct or being able to see where the table was before, when I was looking at the 10 from over here, I want to shoot this 2 rails and out, and I want to get the 10. I don't want to have to mess with the combo or mess with the 13 at all. And this looks pretty good. But back to the Fargo thing, if you look me up now, I'm actually a couple points higher. But at the time that today it updated actually. I'm recording this on the 5th of June, and I probably will release this tomorrow. Because I have another exciting announcement coming Saturday. I mentioned it in I'll put the video for the KO challenge that Matt and I played. That match has been scheduled. Spoiler alert, it is Saturday, June 14th. I will do a separate video on it, including all the links and everything and where you need to go to subscribe to that channel for the live stream and everything. But anyway, that rack went pretty well. Basically exactly how I thought or I was hoping it would go. So I am up 2-0. I didn't do much warm-up before this. I usually start out either putting the ball on the spot, and that's why you see this sticker up here, and hitting balls just in each corner, or I will just throw out 15 balls and hit them in any order. Sometimes I'll work on a couple of those, kind of like, and I'll put a video for here for the 75 ball challenge, or actually I'll put one for the 150 ball challenge that I just did recently, where I played 10 racks of just break and then make any ball, and tally up your points, see how many out of 150 you can get. And then I played maybe, I think, 2 racks of 8 ball, without using ball enhancer, without ghost method, and then decided, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good, let's try a ghost match. So here I needed to get around the 10. In fact, I hate doing this, but stop. Okay. First of all, I took solids because I didn't like these 2 balls here. Now, I probably could have put ball in hand, taken the 15, then the 9, or the 9, then the 15, but solids are all out, and they all look pretty good. The 4 is by itself, and then the 3, if I can get a good angle on it, leads to the 8 down in this corner. The 8 also does go here if I get really bad on it. It also does go in at least this side, and probably up in this corner once all the, that corner that's way over there. Corner over here, once all the balls are out of the way. But the 4 is on its own, so what I needed to do is I need to get, and I don't want to take the 3, so the typical pattern, and let's say if I only had the 4, the 3, and the 8, is I would play the 4 here, play the cue ball over here, play the 8 in the side, and just stop it for the 8 ball. But I need to get up table, so I wanted to make sure I avoided the 3. I want to leave that for my key ball, and I want to go around the 10 here. Now, if I go into the 7, that's fine. The 6 does go past the 1, but basically I wanted to just get around in the middle of the table somewhere for the 1. Okay, I will play it. I may do some more pausing. I know I say I won't pause it. And actually, I got really good on this. I can go for the 1 or the 7 on the side or the 6. Pretty much an ideal position here for where I landed. Probably going to do 7, 6, 1, 2 and use the 2 to get back on the 3. Probably not going to do the 7, 6, 1, 2. Probably going to do the 7, 1, 2, 6. And these patterns are based on how you're feeling, where the cue ball ends up. And if I drew it back like that, my plan all along was to go to the 1. Now I wanted to get more straight here. I'm a little off just because I want to go 1 rail and back out to the 6. And I want a little bit of an angle. If you look at the pocket line of the 6, I want to be a little bit on this side just so I can come over for the 3. Had to do a little bit of a stun follow, but I got pretty good on that. I mean, if we draw the pocket line again, well, that was not really good. But yes, Sam, I'm still calling you out in every video. Now here, I'm going to pause it again. The video isn't all that long. This was a nice, fairly short match. So I can use time to talk about things. You ever get in that situation where you know what you're going to do and you get down on the ball in the last second and change your mind? That's what happened here. I fully intended on going one rail and out because I want to angle on the 3 to go a little bit away from it. And at the last second, I just decided, you know what, I'll just draw it because I can draw straight back and it'll kind of float over this way. Instead, I caught the draw really full, and now it went where instead of the cue ball going this way off the 3, it's going this way. So now I have to try to hit this 13 full enough that it moves out of the way, but yeah, not thin enough that I get stuck behind it, or if I would hit more of the right side, it could have come down into the 8. As it is, I'm okay here. I have a shot, relatively straightforward 8-ball shot, and we should be good. And with that said, in the matter of a few minutes, I'm up 3-0 already in a race to 7. I really move fast when I want to, don't I? So I took some off that break because I wanted to make sure I didn't scratch on the side. It still flew it way over to the right side. And I'm going to get the rack out of the way here. And I'll pause this and we'll take a look at this rack because this one's tough. Stripes look great, except for this, what is it, the 12 and the 14 or the 10, I can't really tell which one that is. And solids look okay. The 5 does not have a pocket right now, although the 5-3 is pretty straight here, and the 4 doesn't have a pocket. So my thought was, if I take stripes, I have to bust this out somehow, or land in a perfect position line there, but then how do I get out of that? I'm gonna have to do one of those super draw back. Possible, not a great position to be on, and it's really tight in here. It's not a place you want to try to be shooting through, and I don't really have a great way to break it out. Like I can get here on the 14, draw into it, but I may hit the 8, and I may just put this in a spot where I don't have a shot on it. In fact, it's more likely that I don't have a shot on that. I don't have a way to get out for another ball. So I could do something like play the cue ball here, play the 9 here, and follow up and hit into that. But again, unless I get really lucky, now maybe it would be better to hit the 4 and the 6, like have the cue ball come in here, hit the 4, hit the 6, move those both out of the way, but then I'm worried about the 8, maybe into the 14. So I decided to take solids. We'll get the video started back up here. And I need to take care of this 5 ball right away. Now, I could play the 5 up here. I don't know why I didn't look at that. I think I just looked at the fact that the 5 didn't go here, here, or here, or here, and just with the mess up here, got distracted and figured if I played the 5-3 combo, I'd still have a shot in the 5. Now, I'm also looking at this 4 ball. Now, the 2, I believe, or the 6 definitely goes this way. The 2, I believe, also goes past the 4 here. If not, it definitely goes here. And I can maybe play the 2, float up, and then play the 4 on the side. Like I said, I should have played the 5 up in this corner. That's a mistake on my part. But as it is, this is fine. I have a little bit of angle on the 5, so I can naturally come around. And what I want to do is I want to get an angle on this 2 ball that's going to be on this side of the pocket line. But instead, I come into it at a bad angle, and now I'm in a weird spot. I'm going into the 4 no matter what, and maybe it doesn't look like that. So I decided to put a little bit more of a stroke on this, more speed, and go into the 4 and punch it out. And almost, just by the thinnest of margins, almost got frozen on the 6, in which case I would not have had a shot. But since I'm off a little bit, there is a little space in there, I can play right English and top and just come straight back out for the 4 or the 7 or the 6, depending on what I had. All I needed to do was make sure I cleared like this line to be able to get on this side, which I did. So I'm going to draw back here for the 4 and then reevaluate. I'm on the wrong side for the 6 because I don't want to make the 6 here and then go into the 8. So I'm going to play the 7. I'm going to kind of come back here, but I do want a little bit of an angle, so there is probably better. I'll leave my circles on the screen, see where I get. And I'm even a little further over, which is even better. Now, there's two ways to play this. I could draw straight back, or I could punch one railing out. It's a feel thing for me, and it depends on how much angle I have. Looks like I'm just going to draw, or just mostly a stop shot. This 8 does go. I did know that the whole time. Not like that, Sam, but like this. Past the 14, I just got to aim for the left side of the pocket a little bit more. And I aim for the center of the pocket. But that said, I'm at 4-0. I'm starting to get in my mind like, wow, I could win this set out. And that's a real dangerous thinking because as we've seen in these ghost matches, a loss can lead to another loss really quick. And here we go again on the right side, and the 7 almost goes in again. I don't know what it is about the 7 and why it's there. The 2 balls I'm trying to make on the break are the 2 ones right behind the head ball, which in this case is the one I'm working on my break. So if it's rack your own, you might as well put the ball that's easiest to see and easiest to aim. For me, it's like the 1 or the 5 or maybe even the 9 or any other really stripe depending on where it is. But I like putting the 1 on there. I'm used to playing a lot of rotation, 9 ball and 10 ball, and the 1 is always on top there. This rack, and you know what? I'm going to pause it again. This rack is even tougher than the last, I think. Everything is spread out, except for these 2, but both of these actually go in the side here. Not like that. But both the 14 and the 5 will go in the side if I take ball in hand and probably get those out of there first. The problem is, it's the 1 ball and lesser extent the 7, because if you get the 1 ball out of there, you get the 7 out of there. And it's the it's really like these 4 for stripes. Now they all go except for this ball. 11 goes here, 9 goes I think in both pockets, 13 goes in both pockets. So my thought is if I play stripes here, and I'll start this back up, I want to play the 14 and then probably the 10 and then figure out off of one of these 3 how I can break this 12 out. Not sure if I like this or not. I kind of thought about playing the 1 in the side here, but then I have to get over here on the 5, and I almost could have done with ball in hand. I think this 12 is in the way. But we'll see how I get into the mess and hopefully get out of it in a few. Now I could go 1 rail into the 12 here, but I'm worried that it makes the 12 worse, like sitting on the 11, and I may not get a shot because the cue ball may go behind the 1. So I just come out to where I thought the middle of the table was for a shot, and because I did that, I don't have anything here. I don't have a shot on any of these 4 balls, except for maybe the combination. I don't think I have enough of the 11 to go here, and even if I did, I don't think I'd want to take it. It's more of an extreme cut. The cue ball is going to hit the 1, go into the 12, and then who knows what's going to happen. So I decide, oh well, I have to take my medicine and I have to play, you know what, maybe this is the 15, I've been calling it the 12 the whole time. I have to play this 12 ball over here, and I'm just going to come into these balls and hopefully make them better. Do not recommend this line of thought. You're going to see why in a second. And you say I looked at it, I looked at some of the angles, but I didn't really take much time. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm going into the 9 or the 13 or both in this case, and look what I just did to these. Once again, while I'm thinking here, these balls don't go in any pocket right now. I cannot get over here and make the 13. There's not enough room. This does not go past here. There's no combo. This is lined up like way up here. There's no way to get a combo. But I do have an idea in mind, and I do have a plan. This time I'm actually going into the shot with a plan. First, I have to get the 11 out of the way. And as you've heard me say in a lot of videos, I hate is a strong word. I very much do not dislike crashing into balls or trying to break balls out when they're the last balls on the table. I have to do it here. I'm going about 2-3 o'clock on the cue ball, 3 rails around, and hopefully getting a shot. and I got super lucky there. And we'll look at this in slow motion again. It's a feel shot. I couldn't tell you exactly how much spin or how much to put on. See, I hit it pretty hard. This is half speed. And I get just enough so I hit the 12 or hit the 13 into the 15, open the 15 up. 15 goes down here. I can basically just stop it. It's going to float a little bit into the 4, 13 over here, and the 8 probably in the same pocket. Now, I followed that a little bit further than I thought I would. I thought I would be more here. Because of this, I can't play the 8 in this pocket here. I could if I could. You know what? I actually couldn't. I was gonna say I could if I could draw it, but the cue ball is going this way. So I just looked over here at how much further over, even though I'm gonna get more distance on it, how much further over am I gonna get? Can I get to play the 8? I would have liked to get a little bit more, but this works. I didn't get when you're bridging over a ball. It's really hard to over and under hit it, and it sounds goofy over and under hitting at the same time, but it's really easy to not really get the line you want or the spin you want without putting side spin on, which is going to make you miss the ball. This is pretty good though, and this goes all day down here. I don't have to do much with the cue ball, just kind of a stun to the rail, and I'm up 5-0. That was one of the harder racks I think I've played in a Ghost match on this channel. I'm proud of the way I got out of it. I'm not proud of the way I got into it though. That was a mess. There I fly right off to the right side again. I have to work on that. I do have to work on that. I'm playing a 9-ball tournament tomorrow night on 9-foot Brunswicks at Break and Run in Racine, Wisconsin. We'll see how that goes. This is an 8-foot. Yeah, just follow the 8-ball, no problem. I only all the tournaments I play in are cue ball fouls. Only that was not a foul. Would not have been a foul in any game that I play in. We'll see if I go to the International Open in November, if that changes. So here I'm looking at this rack, and there's only 5 stripes on, or 6 stripes. Counting is hard. Stripes would be really great to take, and I'm actually going to set up to take it right now, but this 13 ball is a problem. And you could set the cue ball here and play it in the side, but I don't know. I don't really like that. Plus, then I have to get the 9-ball out to come around here to get these 2 out. So I decided to go for solids here. I can use either the 4 or the 3 as my key ball on the 8. The 8 goes down here. It also goes up in this side pocket. So it depends on where I get and what the position is, how I wind up as far as on like essentially these 3 balls here, the 4, 5, and 6. Not necessarily in that order. Here I'm just going to punch the rail and come out. So I have a straight line on here, so I can do almost anything I want with the cue ball. Come out this way, come out this way. I could draw straight back. It all depends on what I'm feeling at the time. It looks like I'm going to draw straight back. I'm trying to get around here so I can get either the 4 or the 6. This is a pretty good circle. I'm touching it, I call it. And I decide the pattern here. So if you look at these balls, there's multiple ways you can make these. I could go from the 4 to the 6 to the 3 to the 5. And use, you know, if I get like here, come one rail out for the 8. I don't like, and you'll find this out the more you play, I don't like leaving balls that go into the side as my key ball as much if I can help it. It seems like they're easy to side pockets, usually a little bit bigger. You got a wider angle to make them on. But let's say all 3 balls are gone, and I'm here on the 5. Now I have to try to get on the 8. I'm probably going into the 13. If I don't think I can. It's tough to get on there. So what I look at is if I make the 6 first, I can basically do stop shots. And what I mean by stop shots is, I've mentioned this before, it's basically just a simple straightforward shot. Now this, I'm playing lower left and I'm going to draw it a little bit out, but this is as easy as a stop shot for me. I'm going to do the same thing with the 4 ball. I'm going to play it a little bit of right and a little bit of bottom just to pop this off the rail so I don't have to contend with being on the rail. And then I have the 5 and I'm like almost dead straight in on the 5. And now I can do one of two things. I can either draw it back, or I can play it off this rail and out. And then the 3, depending on where I get, I can either play the 8 in the side or in the opposite corner. So this I just had to follow it out. I get a good angle on the 3. I can get, as long as I don't get behind the 9. So anywhere in like this area with this giant eyeball with some eyelashes here. And I land right in the middle of the eyelash, and I have the 8 in the side. I do want to take my time here. Take some extra kind of in the air warm-up strokes. I don't know where I picked that habit up from, but I've just been doing it forever. It looked like I was going to hit the inside point there for a second, from my point of view when I was down on the table, but I didn't. I'm on the hill. It's 6-0. I have a really, really good chance of whitewashing this ghost here. Now, before I break, have you ever noticed if you're on the hill, you try to go a little bit extra hard for the break? Try not to do that. I've seen this in a number of matches on AccuStats, and the announcers mention them all the time. Try to do your normal break that's gotten you to where you are. And I actually took a little bit off. You can see the cue ball is spinning like crazy here. I think I took a little bit off. I aimed a little bit to the other side so I wouldn't go in that right side pocket like I had been, I don't know, 5 out of the 6 or 7 breaks here. 7, yeah, 7. I think 5 out of the 7, the cue ball flew right towards this pocket. And 2 of them it went in. 2 of them it almost went in. So here I'm looking at this mess. The 13 is a disaster. And for that reason and that reason alone, I don't want to take stripes. Now I looked at it. I could put the cue ball here or almost here and either play the 13 here or here, but it's the last game. I'm on a verge of a whitewash, and that's a really easy shot to underhit and understroke when you're under pressure. I know the pressure of the whitewash is on me because I'm keeping score. And what I've said to myself is unless I hold up my hand or fingers or whatever, it's always a race to 7. So I know I'm playing a race to 7 in this game. So I decided to go for solids. Now, you know what? I'm going to pause this again. I almost apologize. This combo, if I can get on this line or on this side, is dead in the side. The only thing I have to watch out for is I want the 3 ball to hit off the 5, and I want the 3 ball to come this way a little bit. If the 3 ball goes this way, I could be in trouble. It could lock up on the 13. Bad things could happen. So what I want to do is I want to set up, and I could do this with ball in hand, but then I looked at the 6 being maybe a problem. The 8 ball does go down here. It does not go this way. And if I could get like on the 9, it goes in the side, but that's about it. For that reason, I almost wanted to take stripes, but again, that 13 ball. And these 3 down here are kind of goofy. The 4, I mean, they all go, but they're a little, like if I get here on the 11, then I have to go into the 14, and just things like that. So what I want to do is my plan is to take the 6, 1, 2, hopefully get on an angle to take this combo, and I always have the 4 as backup or insurance. I just have to hit this. The natural tangent line is going right into the 11, so I have to hit this and manipulate it a little bit, come off the rail, and hopefully not get over the 11, and I think I got pretty good. Hopefully I'm capturing kind of the excitement I had when I go. I know this isn't very exciting, just talking about a pool match, but this was exciting for me, on the verge of whitewashing the ghost for real, and not like this video up here. And if you're not from the US, you may not understand this. We have a thing called April Fools. Look it up. So the problem here is I knew I could bump into the 12 off the 1 and stop it. The problem is I didn't hit the 12 as solid, and now it's almost straight, and I have to kind of manipulate this cue ball a lot. I'm going to follow it with upper right, kind of come off this way. I didn't really get the follow that I wanted. The cue ball kind of... I didn't get the right that I wanted. I needed to cheat the cue ball a little bit more. But instead of looking at the 4 and maybe getting a better angle, I decided to take this because I should be in the angle where the 3, well, not that way, can come off here. Instead, it goes right to the rail. Now I'm in a spot here because I need to use the 7 as my key ball because a stop shot in the 7 brings me right to the 8. I could use the 7 right now to get a perfect angle on the 3, but I can't get out for the 4. So what I have to do is I have to play the 4 with like a one rail position to get straight-ish, but I don't want to be straight. I got to be off from straight to our left or my right from straight so that I have an angle to float down to the rail. And I almost missed the 4. Mark Wilson calls that missing in the pocket. So I made the ball, but I kind of missed because if I would have hit it to this side of the pocket instead of this side, I would be over more. Here, I can't stop it because I don't want to be here. So I have to follow this forward with a little bit of spin to kind of throw the angle off and just stop it there. And here, this is one of these tough shots. See if I can get my back of my head out of the way. I can't go back and forth like you've seen me do a million times because this point is in the way. I can't draw it. Obviously, it's going to scratch. I can't follow it around because there's nowhere to go. So I have to basically try to stop it right here. Now, there is enough of the rail here that if I just play like a center ball, it will bounce out and go this way. Isn't necessarily bad, but if all of a sudden I'm over here, I'm in trouble. So I'm going to play a drag shot here, which is essentially a draw shot, but I want the draw to kind of stop maybe here. So it's not actually drawing off the ball, so it skids into it. And I almost missed the 3. I came off the point, and I'm almost straight on the 8s. This could be it. The 8 is pretty close to the 14. I'm checking just to make sure. I'm taking extra time, kind of loosening up my arms. Worst thing to do would be to run out a set of 7 and miss the 8 ball in the 7th game. Fortunately, that did not happen. Pump, fist pump in the air, which is something I guess I do now, even though I've mentioned that I don't do it. And that is it. I've won 7-0, and I have whitewashed the Ghost for real. Not like that video I put up here. So, what do you guys think? I know I paused. I know I talked a lot in this video, more than I normally would, but I wanted to play out some patterns, show some of the mistakes that I made. I'm pretty impressed with myself. If I'm pretty happy with, let's not make it sound like I'm totally conceited, because I'm really not. I am one of the more humble pool players there are out there. I do not smack talk. Every once in a while I will. In fact, I may in this video that I'm going to do coming up in a couple minutes here that I'll post on Saturday, the 7th. But that rack 5 got myself into a huge mess with a pretty big mental mistake of not planning out better, instead of just going, oh, I'll just put this here somewhere and I'll crash into stuff and hopefully something will happen. I did get out of that really well. It was a really well executed shot, and it's something that only doing this a million times could have gotten me to. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave me a comment down below. Have you ever whitewashed the Ghost? I'll say in a race to 5 or higher, and in any game, 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball. I was almost there. In fact, I'll put a link here to the 9 ball match that I almost whitewashed the Ghost. I almost did in 10 ball a couple times, but this is the first real whitewashing of the Ghost that I've ever done, much less on camera. So I'm lucky I had the camera going. So yeah, leave me a comment, do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, share it out, do whatever. I may be posting this to a couple of different places, so if you happen to be in some of the groups I'm in, you may see this. But otherwise, we hit 250 subscribers last week. I really appreciate everyone here. I'm going for 500 by the end of the year. I don't think we should have a problem doing it, as long as you guys keep watching and commenting and liking and subscribing and all the other stuff. So until next video, have yourselves a great day.